Hey, welcome back. And today we are going to be talking about His House, a 2020 horror thriller film written and directed by Remy Weeks in his debut feature. And this is a very, very impressive debut feature. I also want to note it's written by Felicity Evans and Toby Venables. So shout out to the writers. As a writer, I need to remember to shout them out too. But I've always said that most stories, if not all stories, have all been told before. That's why the hero's journey is such a often referred to kind of structure in a movie. But this is a haunted house story with a very unique point of view, and it's really well done. I've never seen a take quite like this. There's a lot of depth. The lead actors are so good and natural and subtle, and the message is very strong while still satisfying a majority of what you expect from this type of movie. But let's dive into the quick summary of the plot, and then I'll give you a little bit more of my thoughts. So, Bol and Rio are refugees fleeing with their daughter Nayak from war-torn Sudan. They cross the Mediterranean, and it's very messy there, and eventually they arrive in Europe. They have a lot of guilt about what happened as they're surviving, but now they have a chance at a new life, and they have to prove to the powers at be. They have a probational asylum, sorry, that they can fit in, and immediately they don't fit in. Immediately they are haunted by their past, and we see how difficult it is to adapt. And we actually don't get that many scenes outside. We actually just get one or two scenes of them interacting with the people, and we can tell the experiences of, let's say, I think it was a probational worker or a helper or just the local kids. They just have no idea what they went through, and we as a viewer, we've seen it. We've seen it in the ghosts that they occasionally see in the flashbacks of their trip. This was so difficult for them, and the people that currently live in this outskirts of London where they have no idea. They're so cheerful, or they're so mean, and they're just in completely different worlds. Both of this husband and wife duo, they're both haunted in completely different ways, and you can see them trying so hard to fit in. They have so much patience and strength to try to pretend like everything's normal, that everything's okay. And they have to. If they don't prove to everyone that they're well adjusted, they're going to get kicked out back to where they came from. And that place is very horrible based on the flashbacks, just nonstop violence. And that's basically the story. It's them in this new apartment that they have and dealing with these demons or ghosts, whatever you want to call them, that are haunting them. And it's not clear if it's of the house or of it's from the past, but we know that they definitely have trauma. We see the ghosts very soon, and that might be a slight criticism. There's not as much tension building. It's not that slow because we see the scary stuff basically immediately, and there are really effective scares when it's left to our imagination. But I actually kind of liked it because it wasn't that scary. We just see the monsters straight up, and this is what they see. And the dynamic between the husband and the wife is also really interesting. The husband in the beginning is very pro staying. He's like, this is our life, this is our future, we need to try our best. But the wife is not as keen on staying here because she believes they are being punished by these spirits or ghosts. Ultimately, it has to do with witches, but it's whatever you call it. It depends on the culture. And she wants out. She thinks that, this is haunted. And yeah, it's well done. It's really well done. I've never seen a story quite like this because the message of it was so strong. I think the best horror movies always have a really clear or strong message. And for this one, I think it's definitely about some type of survivor's guilt. And it's actually educational because I learned, or I felt, how it must feel to be these two people that have escaped but still be haunted by all of these other people that could not escape, and how that must follow you and how unfair that must feel. And this movie viscerally shows us that and leads us to that experience within the context of a pretty fairly conventional haunted house, haunted location story. So in that sense, it's a little bit predictable, but I think that's fine. I think based on the story they want to tell, the message they want to tell, it was executed very, very well. And like I said, I can't say enough good things about these two actors. They feel so real. I like how they're not especially gorgeous or polished or actory. They're just barely holding it together the whole time, and their performances are very, very nuanced. It will get more intense, but only when it gets super intense. They're never too screamy or too scared looking. They are tough. They've dealt with probably worse shit actually up till this point, and you can see how they're dealing with it. And yeah, that's it. Very solid movie. A little bit conventional at parts, but overall very, very strong. And if you like haunted house movies, I think this is a good one.